They have to graph it?
Not yet. He'll be there for a long time.
Did he burn himself?
They will eventually.
Did he burn
No,
himself?
he's got,
An
blood
infection?
clots. And then, what's it called? He's got a
Lupus que no.
lupus and it's eating. Oh, yes, ahora. Gracias a Dios.
Was everybody on vacation or?
Yes. Everybody's off already.
Okay. Are we ready?
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting. Bienvenidos todos. Let me do a roll call. Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Legareta.
Present.
Mrs. Garay.
Here.
Mr. Montes, I am here. And I guess we'll wait until next month for Mr. Boubet.
Yes, so we'll discuss that here in a bit.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody stand up and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico.
The symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Okay, do I have any questions on item 1A, approval of the agenda? If not, can I get a motion, please?
Second.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item 1B, approval of minutes, regular board meeting, May 20th, 2026. Do I have any questions or concerns? If not, may I get a motion to approve as written?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. And we do have the approval of May 2026 bills, which includes item D, approval of budget adjustments, requests, transfers, and cash request. Maintenance bars, 11,000, 13,000, 27149, 31200. Increase bars, 22,000, 24101, 24106, and decrease bars, 24154, 24160, and 31200. Can I get a motion to approve as is?
So moved.
Second.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Number 2, Superintendent's report. Mr. Montalvo.
Yes, sir. Member Montes, members of the board, it's my pleasure tonight for my superintendent's report to begin with an introduction of one of our new staff members. Just 7 days ago, today's her 7th day on the job, we were lucky enough to get Ms. Carolyn Vigil as our new director of HR, so I'll have her stand so she can be recognized.
7 days? Wow. Congratulations.
Some of you met her at the School Board Association's law conference last week. She's already handling quite a few duties. I told her I felt like I kind of threw up at her when she came in with, we need to be working on this, working on that. But it's been a long time need for the district, and we're lucky to have her on board. So I just wanted you guys to have a chance to meet her tonight.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, the next thing on my agenda is athletic celebrations. So understanding that we are in the middle of summer and a lot of our students are gone. However, last month during the time we tried to recognize some of our students, some of our students couldn't make it. We had so much going on in the month of May. So I've asked Mr. Fernie Sanchez, our athletics director, to bring some of our students tonight who he'll be recognizing. So at this time I'll call Mr. Fernie Sanchez up and we'll see what students were able to get here tonight to celebrate their achievements at the district and state levels.
Actually, I'm going to do very little tonight. I'm going to have our two coaches come up. I'm going to start with powerlifting. Let them do their thing.
Good afternoon. Sorry. Of all our kids that made it to state, I only have 4. I have 1 on the way, so hopefully she makes it. I have Katrina Garcia, Dulce Moreno, Elias Gomez, Daylene Vasquez, and then Giovanna Fierro is on her way. To qualify for state, all these athletes had to be ranked in the top 8 of their weight classes. And this past state, we came home with 2 kids who medaled. So Daylene Vasquez got second in the 181, which, put your hand there. And then Jovi's coming, but she also got second place in the 259 weight class. She held a state record for 30 seconds, but she had it.
What is,
So-
like 259 pounds?
No, that's her weight.
Oh,
Overall,
the
her
class.
yeah, her
Okay.
composite was like 700 something. Yeah, yeah, very very strong.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
But yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Members of the board, would you like
Say
a pic,
more.
would you like a picture of them, or?
Sure.
Well, I got to give you guys some more info, because
Yes,
I
we
don't
want
think
more.
we got that.
Okay.
So in our classification, it's 1A through 3A. It is not just a single class. So 52 schools. As a team, the girls' team finished 5th. Seems great. They were 3 points out of second place. That close.
Wow.
That close. So they did a great job. I think it's hard to try to get them up there, and I know it's nerve-wracking for the coaches, but these kids work tremendously hard. They put in a lot of time. And I think the thing that we were talking about, as I got to go up there and witness them do this stuff, they all PR'd. They all got their personal best for the season at the state meet. You can't do any better than that.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out.
Congratulations.
You want to wait for the,
Oh, are we waiting for the one more? You want to wait?
Do you want to wait till?
We'll let,
For the
we'll
photo?
let,
She said she's on her way.
okay, then we'll do it.
And now we're going to bring up a couple of our track kids here, and I'll get Coach Hernandez to do that.
Good afternoon, board. ¿Cómo estamos? Buenas tardes.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Well, I mean, I know most of you already. I've been doing this for a while now. This year kind of took a new, we took a new perspective on the track team, changed some things, you know, had some personnel changes and stuff. But today we only have 3 boys. Doesn't really account for all the kids we had out this season. Including the middle school and the high school, I think we had close to 120 kids.
Yay.
There was a couple of days when you would go out there and it looked like a full track meet, just with our kids practicing. So I think that was one of the biggest things that we improved this year, just the numbers kept bigger and bigger in middle school and high school. But anyways, these boys were, I guess, what you call the cream of the crop for us this year. They put the team on their shoulders and really carried them in individual races and at state. Unfortunately, they were the only team our only relay team to podium this year. The good thing is that all of them are juniors and sophomores, so we get everybody back next year. We lost some important seniors this year, especially in the distance races, which they'll be hard to replace. But I think we have a bright future for the track team, and in the next couple of years, I hope we can bring hopefully a trophy back for the community and for everybody just to share. But let me introduce the guys that are here. These guys were the part of the 4x2 that got 4th in the state. They were ranked 3rd for a long time. They were one of the fastest teams up there. But, you know, state always, you know, it's just state. Things happen. But still very proud of them. I think as a community, we should be proud of what they're doing out there representing. I think it's awesome to hear Hatch Valley announced at the state track meet. And this year we were able to have some of those guys. Junior, Alex Bautista ran the Open 400 for us too, and then ran in the 4x2. And then we have sophomore, Emmanuel Gomez. You know, obviously one of our best athletes out there, does some jumps for us too. And then we have Dominic Sanchez, super quick Dom for us this year. Had a couple injuries at the beginning of the season, but he kind of worked through them. 2 other guys that were crucial for this team that aren't able to be here because they're working, Jonathan Garcia and Ernesto Castorena. The 2 guys that were part of the 4x2 the whole season and, you know, were crucial. And just overall, the team, these boys just kind of set the standard for everybody. And we're just proud of them and hopefully continue to make the town proud, the community proud, and bring some trophies and some hardware. One last thing I should mention before we hadn't won district in a long time. I don't know exact years, but it was more than 10 years. And this year, the boys were able to get the district championship, so that was a big thing for us this year. On the back of these guys. So, yeah, that was our biggest accomplishment this year, I think, and then, just having the boys here. But thank you for your time. Do you guys want to say anything? Good? All right. Hey, I'll give them a chance. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
We can take a picture with this one.
If I may, please take a point of privilege, I did go to the state championship, or state tournament, track meet to watch, and one of the coolest things was having Mr. Sanchez and Omar point out to me that we had eighth graders running in the state track meet. So when we have young
Yes.
ladies who are eighth graders and they're being successful, I think the future's bright for our track team.
Yes.
Yes.
We were
Get,
loaded.
Yes.
We'll get a picture because we were able to get Jovi here. That's excited. Just so you guys know, that number was 128 kids at the track on one
Wow.
day.
That's
Wow.
the biggest, right?
That
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids
How
out
many
there.
coaches?
We, thankfully, thanks to UP Sanchez, we were able to hire enough, and we had a lot of young kids this year. And so I think in total we had about 9 with some volunteers and
Okay.
some people helping just with a little bit of stuff. Not
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
But of course, it's hard.
Yeah.
Coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta point out that Dominic Sanchez is my son. Just want to make sure people
Aw.
know that.
We didn't know that.
Nah, I don't ever talk about that. They did a great job. Honestly, his staff, a big change in the philosophy that's hard for kids. It's hard for things while respecting the history. You know what I mean? Like that what's happened, and you know, we were lucky with Coach Donahue for so long to keep that program actually from dying. You know what I mean? And to do that, but. And she has a lot on her plate as the head athletic trainer this year. She was our head girls basketball coach. Like, so those things are all, you know, I mean, still things that she's doing for us at this point. But I'd like to point out the job that Coach Hernandez did. He's really stepped up. But man, these boys pushed themselves. And again, you're talking about boys that all PR'd at the end of the season. They got their personal best at the end of the year too. So, all right. So if you mind, we're going to come up here and take a picture with you guys. Yes, I will. It's a white book. You guys got to turn around. I can't take a picture. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Next year, more medals.
Bring that trophy.
There you go.
More color, but we'll bring it.
Yes, true.
Okay. Continuing my superintendent's report, thank you all for our athletes, Coach Sanchez, Omar, Coach Sanchez, thanks for all you've done. So, members of the board, as I promised to the board during my first board meeting 3 months ago, I conducted a listening and learning tour where I took time to visit stakeholders from all levels. I spoke to parents, students, district staff at all levels. Our instructional team visited every school during PLCs to ask teachers what they needed so that they could include this in our plan. This evening, we bring to you a strategic plan that summarizes those meetings and also helps us, as a district, begin to set some goals and priorities to meet the needs of our district and our community. Please keep in mind, this is not yet a finalized plan, and we bring it to you today to make changes, get feedback, and get suggestions from the board. As adjustments are made and as we progress, we'll make those changes, also considering that this is not a 1-month or a 3-year plan. Working through this may take an extended time to do it well and will require constant conversations between the board and our team to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our kids. So I want to call this a living document. but we got to start somewhere. If you notice, the top of this says elevating the student experience. I've kind of selected that as our motto going forward for a little bit. With the board's approval, I would like to add that to our, or with the board's consideration, add that to our website and kind of make that our motto for the next couple of years, is elevating the student experience as we move through that. Andrew, can you go to the next slide, or can I do that from here? So in your board packets, you have a rough draft of this in plain form. I want to thank Leslie, who worked really hard on this. She put a lot of time into making this look like a true presentation. We hope to kind of be able to publish it on our website, so it makes sense and it looks good to the public. So I don't want to read to you. I don't know if you want me to read it out loud or how you would like to look at that, but the beginning talks about the analysis of our plan, how we gathered information, and highlights my listening and learning tour. Next slide, Andrew. Okay. So the plan aimed to develop 2 to 3 recommendations per area. After we spoke to everybody, I sought to get out of the building as a superintendent and not live in an office. I visited schools, went to community events, talked to kids. Our FFA kids were in Las Cruces for their FFA conference, and I went and had snacks with them at their hotel and talked to them about their experience as students. I met with parents as they came in for community events, talked to them, asked them questions. So I was trying to communicate with families, listen to students, listen to teachers, and visit every school. And I'm proud to say that I think I made it to just about every classroom in the building, in every building in those first 3 months. Next slide, Andrew. Okay. So our tour included one-on-one meetings with all of our district level leaders, our principals. We had meetings with our mental health workers. So we did it by team and ensuring that everybody had a voice to explain what we needed. And I asked 3 simple questions. What's going well in the district? What are some opportunities for improvement? And what are some things the district should consider, but they haven't come to fruition for one reason or another? Sometimes we have great plans and they don't always work out, and that's okay. We work through that too. I've met with elected officials, state representatives. I have reached out to our Board of County Commissioners. I didn't get as much response from them. That's another conversation. But we also, as we met with people, we talked about how do we fund the needs that we need for our kids and how do we move this plan forward. So at the bottom, I have a conclusion. So the Hatch Valley Public Schools plan, student and staff experience should include a collaborative approach to teaching and learning with the focus on continuous improvement. That's kind of what we're going to work at for all levels. Andrew, if you give us the next slide. Okay. I highlighted some strengths of the district. There's a strong sense that schools and teachers truly know their students. It's a small community. And I don't care who you spoke to, whether it was students or parents, they talked about teachers know my kids and they know what's going on with them. That's huge for supporting students. In addition, students benefit from both robust academic support and a wide range of social-emotional support that addresses their social-emotional needs. The students felt that the teachers supported them. They felt that their school counselors supported them and they had somebody to go to if they needed to, which I will say doesn't happen in every district. So that's a highlight to see that's been taking place. The learning environment is strengthened by relatively new and well-maintained school facilities. Having come from a district with 41 schools, I can say that I'd be proud to say that our schools here would be top-notch in that district. So our schools our teams do a good job of keeping our schools well-maintained, and the buildings are fairly new. Next slide, Andrew. That one's just pictures. Next one. Okay. So asking the question, what can be improved? So student expressed a desire for stronger connections to post-secondary options, including clear information about CTE pathways and related careers. The students highlighted they have a lot of information about college, and there's some information about careers other than going to college, but some of the students said we really don't know what's out there and how do we get there. So as a district, we need to work on that. Understanding that college is a great option, but there's also numerous opportunities to make money in other fields nowadays. Students requested that educators place greater emphasis on engaging interactive instruction to increase participation and learning. So in short, that's a very nice way of saying students said, yes, my teachers are doing a good job, but if they kept us engaged in class, then we won't want to be on our phones, we won't want to be on our computers. So they're asking for more engaging instruction, okay? Students at secondary level requested access to music classes. And so we're going to work on that as we work through the budget. I tasked Sheila with figuring that out over the next couple of years. She turns red as I say that. We don't know how we do that. But our students want access to music, and that's what they asked for, both at the middle school and the high school. And not all of our elementaries are getting the same music support. So we want to build our music program. And Ms. Holguin, I think, is in the room, and she's like, I have this beautiful band room, but we're not using it. Yes, so there's a goal there. Family and community needs. Parents and community members requested more consistent and effective communication from schools. Some of our schools are doing a great job of communicating. The other ones, the parents felt there was more of a need to do that. So we're going to work on some plans through our new website, through some communication tools to be sure that all of our schools are providing consistent communication to parents. Okay? Educator needs. So this is the teachers. The teachers want district alignment in curriculum. Considering that we're a small district, the teachers themselves said, like, everybody, not everybody, some people are doing their own thing. We're not aligned across the district from school to school. So we have a plan already in place to start that in July. We've worked with our principals and our leadership team to develop a professional development plan for just starting in July. So we'll get that started. They want clear guidance to support our bilingual learners. Our programs and our bilingual students do very well in our district. But again, schools aren't doing the same thing across the district, so we want to align that. Staff asked for the opportunity to be heard in a comfortable, welcoming environment without the fear of retaliation. They wanted to be able to come, whether it's the principal's office, superintendent's office, or to the board, and they want to speak to people and not have that fear of being retaliated against. So that's a culture that we work on building and improving that culture. They asked for clear communications and expectations. They want routines for sharing data. And they also, the staff wanted some more clarification on how to support our students with IEPs and special needs. So including that, so that's one of the things that we're going to work through. And then operational needs is improve and modernize district safety procedures. The district has a lot of stuff in place, but there's always room for improvement to keep kids safe in our schools, one of those being bringing back the SRO program.
Yes.
Which I'll report out on that later. Infrastructure and campus entrances. Some of our campuses don't have what we would call the safest entrances, where there's multiple entrances to schools. So that's something that, again, I've asked Sheila to start working on as we work on the budget for the next upcoming years, ensuring that we're doing that. And make sure that we have a sustainable and safe environment for our students. Okay, these are some of the rapid resets and quick wins that I did in my first 90 days just because we needed these things to happen. So these are some of the things that we brought in quickly. We implemented an electronic project tracking system to monitor initiatives, timelines, and responsibilities, so that to ensure that myself, and I needed it for myself to be able to tell, like, where's this project at, who's responsible for it, where are we at? So I'll be willing to share that with you at any time. We have a system of backups for single point of failures. I found that in a small district, sometimes one person does many jobs, but also sometimes that same person is held responsible, and when they're not here, that job doesn't happen. So we're creating a backup everywhere we can to ensure that everybody has a backup, and there's not a single point of failure for situations. Okay? We structured recurring meetings with school leaders and the Board of Education. As a board, you're aware that we started one-on-one meetings monthly to discuss issues and concerns. I'm doing the same thing with all our leaders in the district. And we've had 3 meetings with our leadership team, which I think have been very effective. We leave those meetings with directives and ideas and concepts, but it's not just my meeting, it's their meeting too, so they develop the agenda as well. So there's stakeholder input. Okay? We've made some minor adjustments to funding appropriations to protect instructional funds. We've increased the use of our district website and social media. Again, Ms. Leslie Baquera, who's been great with that, which is streamlined what she's doing, so she's clear, and Andrew and his team are supporting that. I am happy to say we'll have a new website, hopefully when we come back to school in July. Andrew's shaking his head, so we're working on that, and I saw the first edition of that today, and I was very impressed with our new website. You'll be happy to see that. It's going to help our communication. I've improved superintendent visibility within schools and the community events to strengthen relationships, build trust, maintain open lines of communication. If parents see the superintendent somewhere, they'll talk to him. And so I've tried to place myself where parents are going to be, all kinds of school events, like I said, even the state track meet. And recruitment and solicitation of an HR director, which we just introduced. This has been a huge district need, and I'll be honest, I don't know how the district survived without one. I want to thank all the people that fill those roles. There was lots of people working through to do different things. That job was kind of spread out, and it's going to be really helpful to make sure that we have an alignment of process for our HR department. Okay.
I would like to personally thank Ms. Elsa Ramirez for everything she's done over the years. She's done quite a bit.
Yes, she has. Okay, so continuing with our priorities, our student experience and achievements, we've set some goals for CTE and readiness of all students. I've set some actions, which like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. Hopefully, unless you want me to. If you ask me to, I'll go to Mr. Montes, but I think you guys are
Whatever
good.
you feel comfortable with.
Okay, so our actions are big is we're going to map existing CTE offerings, the labor markets, and figure out a way to get our kids connected. We're working with some outside agencies to bring more opportunities to Hatch for our kids to even get some work-based skills. Hopefully those will work out. And then expand our CTE course offerings, and I'll be honest, our high school has a little bit more of that, but we're missing that at the middle school level. So the middle schools, we really need to get our kids involved and have options for CTE. So we're working on that as we work on grant proposals. Okay. Continue, please, Andrew. Goal 2 is provide engaging interactive instruction that improves learning and behaviors. So I'm going to go to the actions. We're going to adopt and refine district-wide instructional framework, emphasizing active learning, aligned to instructional practices, provide ongoing professional learning and coaching cycles, strengthen positive behavioral intervention supports. We're working with some outside agencies in the county. They have some grants available. Ms. Holguin and I are working with them. Ms. Perry and I were working with them just in the past week. Just try to bring in some other things that will help students and teachers with behaviors, mental health situations, and making sure that the kids' needs are met all the way around. And when we talk about our professional learning that's why we asked for the high school to have a late start next year. They need that time for their teachers to meet, to plan, and to organize their instruction. So I think that's going to help the high school out a lot. Those are small things, okay? Expand access to arts and music, increase options for secondary music courses, provide equitable access to fine arts across schools. Not all our schools are getting the same amount of time for fine arts. Okay, we're going to seek grants, community sponsorships to support this and hopefully get our kids back on track with the fine arts. Okay. Equity and excellence, it's aligning curriculum and instruction and assessment, and we're going to establish some district-wide expectations for curriculum materials. This year is a math adoption year, so as we adopt those new math textbooks, we already have some PD planned for staff. We have some people coming in to help the teachers plan and align their new math content to standards. That'll be district-wide K through 12. That'll start happening in July. Provide curriculum training and implementation support, model lessons. We have some outside agencies willing to work with us on that. Expand instructional coaching, focus on effective use of curriculum and data-driven instruction. And when I talk about instruction, no offense to anyone, but sometimes as a state, all we look at is our standards-based tests, our large-scale test. But I'm really emphasizing with all of our principals to start working with their teachers on formative, what we call teacher-created tests. I think we get more information from teacher-created tests than we do large-scale testing that comes from the state. So that's going to be a district initiative and push for us over the next couple of years is teacher-created testing. Next one, Andrew. Okay. Support bilingual learning is make sure that the clear part here is we need to make sure that our schools are implementing their bilingual programs with fidelity and that it looks the same across the district. Okay. Goal 3 in equity and excellence is foster a culture of trust and belonging. We're going to conduct staff climate surveys. So our principals have asked for this and doing a climate survey, and we want to do this in December to see how does our staff feel? How do our students feel? Establish regular listening sessions and surveys for staff. Ensure compliance with advisory groups. So as per state statute, we're supposed to have a health advisory council, a parent advisory council, an equity council. And those are somewhat being run in schools, but not to the level they should be. We do have a Hatch Coalition, which is an awesome program locally, but we need to make sure that we're in line with state requirements as well. Review and communicate non-retaliation policies, ensure staff know how to safely raise concerns, which is our HR director is going to help with that. Provide leadership training. I've challenged all of our principals this year within the next academic year to find a training that helps them become a better leader. And so I've asked them to find that, and if they need help, I'll do that. But realistically speaking, we all have room to improve our craft, myself included. Implement recognition programs that highlight innovative teaching, inclusive practices, and collaborations. So we need to celebrate our staff as well. and create opportunities for shared decision-making on pertinent issues. If you've noticed, while I've been here, I try to get away from the I and we get to the we. And so I've asked all of our principals to speak that language, just talk about we and what are we doing, and ensuring that our staff hears that too. So it's a team effort. Goal 4 is provide support for teachers and understanding how to support special education students. Really, Ms. Fogel and her team are going to start providing some training in July. And the key thing here is realizing that our special education students have needs, but they're regular education students first. And sometimes we forget that. We let the disabilities or we let their IEPs drive the proper instruction, but they need to get that first layer of instruction as well. And so we need to treat all our students the same. And building capacity for our general education teachers to provide that specific instruction when it is needed for special ed students. Ms. Holguin and I met this morning, we were talking about what do we do when kids don't understand? And that's key, is discussing, as a teacher, you teach it, but do your student, if they don't understand it, do we just keep teaching? And sometimes our special education students need that extra help. We want to make sure that our teachers understand what that looks like. Okay? Operationally, one of my favorite parts, because I did this for so many years, is we want to build equitable communication with families, okay? Increase family satisfaction with an annual survey. We'll use an annual survey to help that. Improve the use of our communication tools, and make sure that our website, major announcements, and social media are up to date. And one of the things I have at the bottom here is community courses through NMSU Global. When I started this plan, they were the only ones who had reached out. I just got an MOU from them today. Since that time, I've also met with Eastern New Mexico, and local universities really want to start offering opportunities for our staff and our students and build those connections. So hopefully we'll get them into our schools and build some programs that you'll see here in the near future. We'll share at a future meeting. Okay. Strengthen systems of operations to support high-quality teaching and learning. We need to work on our budget. We all know that there's some changes to the budget this year that affected what we wanted to do. Develop a multi-year financial plan and provide principals with tools and training to elevate effective leadership. And that goes back to where I talked about asking all of our principals to highlight somewhere where they can improve their craft this year. But that it takes budget to do that. Okay. The next one is facility and safety. We're going to evaluate a plan of action steps for measuring CO2 levels in all classrooms. I'm not sure how aware you all are of this, but CO2 levels make kids, if they're high, kids get sleepy. And so with the new system we're installing at Garfield, we'll be able to do this. And if the CO2 levels are too high, we need to be bringing more fresh air into classrooms. And it improves student attention span when they're not sleepy, right? So as we work through this over the next couple of years, we want to bring that into all of our classrooms so that all of our classrooms have equitable access to that. We're going to continue to upgrade security measures, including cameras and access control, which Andrew's already working on. It's already looking better. Improve visitor and student experience on school campuses by upgrading landscape. So I see Mr. Bobby Cordero in the audience, and he and I and his team went and visited every school campus, and we've already created a list of priorities to increase. I would say, what do the first 10 seconds look when you get off the car, right? When you see a school building, what does it look like? And so we want to make that inviting and welcoming to parents and to students, but also understanding that water is becoming a bigger issue.
Yes.
And so we do flood a lot of our fields. Mr. Cordero and his team and I are looking at other ways, maybe sprinklers, or what do we need to do to have better control of that? Because even flooding most of our fields, for example, our football field, when we flood it, we lose use of that field for a week. Yeah, and so improving that process, we're going to start working through that. Some of them are proving harder than others to address, but we're going to work through it. And then I've had principals and teachers ask me about furniture, so we're going to conduct a furniture refresh list, and I should actually say conduct's not the right word there, we'll change that. But we're going to implement a furniture refresh list for school campuses so we can start upgrading the insides of our schools so our kids have the most up-to-date furniture. And lastly is human resource management. We need to conduct some reviews of our compensation and our assignments, ensure that people, again, have a backup and that they're getting paid for what we're paying them for. And develop a consistent onboarding process. Ms. Ramirez, she has done a great job of making sure that our staff gets hired to get their paperwork in place, but I'm not aware of us having a new employee orientation. How do we make sure that all of our employees get the same information when they come on, and do we have a meeting with them to greet them? And even in the middle of the year, right? If you get hired in the middle of the year, you don't just sign your paperwork and go to your school. Like, do we sit with you and go over our policies, our procedures, so you know what you're coming into? So that's huge, and Ms. Vihil's been tasked with that already, okay? Review and update all Title IX policies. Title IX is huge in our community, or in our world nowadays, and now we have a resident expert, and putting pressure on her. And understanding that in athletics, that's huge as well, and making sure that all of our athletes have access to the same facilities, okay? And then this one's, for me, is personal, but I think it's important. Establish an employee assistance program. Sorry, can you go back to that, Andrew? Establish an employee assistance program and school-based wellness supports. So we always talk about the needs of our students and the mental health wellness of our students, but we don't often think about our staff. And so in this district, there hasn't been a history of if employees having issues, where do we send them? How do we get them help? How do we bring assistance to them? So coming on board, I've asked Ms. Vihil to start working on that. And another conversation we'll have is, we've also brought back our district social worker position, which will be a split between Garfield and the district. So we get mental health supports for students in both of those, but I've asked those two individuals to help us develop an employee assistance program. Thank you. Andrew, next one. So here's our ongoing commitment. As again, this is a living document. We'll grow, we'll expand, we'll work through it. I bring this to the board so that you all can give us feedback and let us know if we missed something or something you want added to this. Ideally, we want to have it ready by July to go onto our district webpage. But I'll ask you also as a superintendent, as you look at my evaluation for the next year, you have something to think like, these are our goals, this is something we're working towards, and some discussions to have. At that point, I'll stand for questions on this.
Andrew, can you go back to the first slide, please?
Which slide, sir?
The first one, very first one.
That would be,
I just want to make sure I read it right. I'd like to start off, Mr. Montalvo and my peers on the board. I'd like to make that as your, that's your baby, elevating the student experience.
Yes, sir, that's the goal.
I would like to put that in place, if that's okay with the other board members. Do we have to?
No, you don't have to. We don't have to have a motion.
Sounds good.
I want your okay to do that. This is a
Okay.
public meeting, so we're all agreeing to that. But as we move through our website, my thing is it's us, right? It's not mine, it's ours. And so we'll make that our goal for the year.
Sounds
For
good.
the next couple of years, elevating the student experience. 'Cause really, that's what we're here for, just to make that experience positive for kids, whether it's through athletics, whether it's through academics, whatever opportunities. It's all about elevating that experience for them.
on the district calendar, on the website, if we could just, I don't know if the schools do it individually, if they post like what's going on in their school, or is it Andrew, or how does that work?
So members of
does
the board, Ms. Garay, I thank you for that. But our new website is going to have a spot for that. And we've already established some processes. I've asked every principal to designate someone who's going to be responsible to ensuring that we have that information on the website. But as soon as they put it on their calendar, it'll feed to the website for all of our events.
Okay.
So we'll have a district event calendar. It'll have upcoming events, and it'll even have a spot where it says today's events.
Now, will we have a calendar in English and in Spanish?
So the even better part, Ms. Garay, is the new-
Not French, we don't need
Now,
French.
so, well, get this, the new website, you can go select the language you want to read it in, and it automatically translates for you.
Perfect.
So we don't have to translate everything.
Nice.
As long, you select what language you want to read it in, you can read it in any language you want, and that's one of the reasons why we're moving to this website.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yep.
Good job.
Other questions, comments?
I gotta sleep on it.
Okay.
Welcome.
I'm open to your feedback, and I appreciate your feedback. Like I said, it's our plan, not my plan, but I did promise that I would have something in the first 90 days, and I'm going to make sure I keep my promises. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Fred.
Thank you.
Ms. Elsa, number 3, limited public comment.
Oh, hold on,
we
hold on,
did the-
we're not done.
We doing? Nope.
No, we're
We
not
got
done
one
yet.
more?
We have one more.
Oh, okay.
So,
Go for it.
no problem. So, Mr. Montes, members of the board, This evening, I'm going to ask Ms. Taryn Fogel, our Director of Special Education Services, to come up to the board, to the podium. So her and her team have put together a little presentation. Just last year, the district hired, which I can't take credit for, but it's well needed, they hired an individual to help with the testing and the support of students in advanced educational services. And so I think it's important as a board that you know what's going on with those. And, you know, you approve a budget where we hire people and where we bring people on board to do a position, but I think it's really important for you all to know what they're doing and what the results of that are. So Ms. Fogel, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, members of the board. So last August, well, let me briefly back up. Last May, we'd had the position for a gifted teacher posted for over a year, and we finally had 3 applicants in May last year after having none. And so we were able to interview the 3 applicants. All 3 of them would have been amazing. It was a really hard decision, and we picked one, and it has worked out very well. So when she came in, she had to look at the new gifted requirements, which does require, from PED, they do require that we screen every 3rd grader, every student by the time they're in the end of 3rd grade. So we were able to do that. Last year, fulfilling my special ed roles, I also screened all the kids that were 4th graders previously. So she had some students to test at the beginning of the year that were 4th graders, and then she came in and screened all the 3rd graders. We started the year with 4 students that were previously identified as gifted. We'd had 6 at the end of the year before, but we had 2 graduates. So we started the year with 4. And then she was able to, like I said, screen all of the 3rd graders this year. There were 65 students that she screened. 7 of them scored high enough to go on to the full testing. Then we also we're soliciting referrals from parents, teachers, and students. And so we had 37 non-3rd graders who were referred for gifted testing. 44 students were given the full battery of the COGAT. That is a IQ indicator test that is approved by the PED to use as part of our gifted testing. So she did 44 students, did the full battery, 7 3rd graders, and then the 37 referrals. 23 of those students qualified for gifted based on their COGAT scores and supporting evidence. So she's been out visiting with teachers, contacting parents, visiting administration, observing students in class. And so we are going to add 23 students when we come back in August. So she'll have a total of, I skipped something. 3 other students were added to gifted rosters this year. Outside of COGAT testing, we had 2 transfers from out of state that came in that were gifted. And not only were they gifted, they came in from the Ukraine, so they were also bilingual students, and they came in with scores that were very high. They are both going into 5th grade. They're twins. And then we had 1 that also qualified outside for additional testing, and then we had a few students who are on my end of special ed and also qualified because they had high IQ or high achievement in other areas. So we ended the year with 7 students. So we started with 4, ended with 7, but we're going to add 23 when we come back. And we just ran out of time at the end of the year to get those all done before school ended, sorry. So the gifted numbers for the start of the fall semester will be 28 students, and this represents a 600% increase. You can say that 7 and 23 do not equal 28, but we did have 2 seniors, and they graduated. So that's where the 2
We're
kid
like,
difference
oh,
are. Yes. For the 25-26 school year, services will mostly address social, emotional well-being, and college and career readiness. The youngest identified gifted student at the start of the school year, this school year, was in 8th grade. We picked up a kindergartner, and a 1st grader throughout the year, and then the 2 4th graders, and then we'll be picking up kids from grades 3 through 9 at the beginning of the year. The 26-27 school year will be different, as there will be many identified students in the lower grades. So services will be varied, but include a monthly one-on-one meeting with that student to check in and see where they are with concerns and with course progress. And then she'll do monthly small group activities for enrichment, critical thinking, problem solving, etc., depending on the areas of the kids' qualifications. She'll be assisting classroom teachers with how to differentiate instruction when requested. She's also doing a PD at the beginning of the year with one of our special ed teachers to talk about differentiation for all of our special populations, bilingual, gifted, and special ed, and giving them ideas of how to differentiate, and then offering herself up to go into classrooms, PLCs, to elaborate on that further. She'll be doing some potential independent research capstone experiences for secondary students. That's kind of her plan right now, but we just wanted to share those numbers with you because that is quite an increase.
Yeah.
Prior to her start, we had 2 staff members who happened to have gifted license, but had other full-time jobs, and they serviced our kids when they could, tried to do the weekly. But now she's focused on that entirely, and she's been a great asset to our program, and the numbers here are showing that she's gonna make a difference, so.
Great.
Do you have any questions?
Who is this individual?
Thank you. I should have said that. I'm sorry. Her name is Stacy Butler.
Stacy Butler?
She has close to 30 years' experience in teaching. She came to New Mexico a little over 2 years ago from Alabama, and she taught in Berlin her first year, but she was living in Las Cruces and commuting, and so she saw our position, and she said if she was going to come back this way, the only place she didn't want to do in Cruces, so she said, I'm going to try Hatch, and if I don't get it, then I'm just going to retire, because she can, and she got it, and we have been very blessed to have her. And she no longer has to, well, she still has to commute, but not to Berlin.
Yeah. Not. Okay.
Do you have any questions? She prepared this presentation, but she is off contract, and I think attending a baseball game this week somewhere is what she was telling me, so I told her I would go over it for her, so,
Good for her.
yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fogel. Good job.
That's awesome.
So, in concluding my superintendent's report for this month, I do want to let you know that just before we came into this meeting, Ms. Stevenson and I got an email that our audit firm will start working on the audit here next month. They're asking for some forms already. So just so you'll know, we'll be working through that process. And with that, I conclude my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Montoro. Okay, Elsa. Limited public, nothing? Okay.
I have a question. Want me to go over there?
Yes, please.
Because I can talk loud enough without it.
I'm sure you can, Ms.
I'm sure you
Sims.
can, Ms. Sims.
The rules are rules. It's not really that important, I don't think, for our school system. But we don't have our other board member yet.
I can
Mr.
discuss that.
Fred?
Yeah, I can discuss that. So, Ms. Sims, great question, and typically we don't address public comment, but that is a valid comment, which I can include. So, on Monday evening, we were notified that Mr. Steve Bouvet has been selected as our next board member by the Secretary of Education. He and I met this afternoon. We'll swear him in right before the July meeting, and he'll start with the July meeting. Means that he has to be sworn in a public meeting. We cannot do it today because this agenda was already posted.
Well, I was upset that the state had to be involved, but oh well. I'm just glad we have one.
Yes, ma'am.
The fifth one. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms.
Now
Sims.
I'm going to the other place I have to go Wednesday.
Okay, you do that.
Thank you, Ms. Phyllis.
I will be back,
And we'll be here.
and that's not a threat. That's a promise.
Okay, Mr. Montes, if you don't
All
mind
right.
moving into new business, yes?
Item number 4, consider approval of the 2026 Open Meetings Act resolution.
So, Mr. Montes, members of the board, we have 2 items which are separate, but they kind of go together. Every year, as per statutory requirement, the board must adopt the compliance with the Open Meetings Act, which is in your packet. This is required federally and by the state of New Mexico. So you have to vote on it and ensure that we pass that resolution so we don't violate the Open Meetings Act, and you're agreeing not to do so.
You recommend?
I recommend that you pass it, yes, sir.
Aye.
You'll have to get a motion first, Mr. Montes.
Can I get a motion to approve
So
as
moved.
presented?
No, I want discussion.
Wait a
So
minute.
I'll
Okay.
make a motion, yes. So moved.
Second.
Now can we discuss?
Motion carries.
No, que motion carries.
I wanted to, I was gonna try to cut you off. Okay, I'm sorry.
I just want to ask do we need to add, maybe in the future, maybe next year, whatever, on the participation via conference, via Zoom, we gotta have some other language in there. Because then you get too comfortable and it's like, I'm at home, I don't want to go today, and I'm just going to Zoom. I mean, the meetings are set, it's once a month, come to your meeting. So I mean, it's too late now, but maybe in the future, we need to put some other language in there. But I'm good for now.
So, Mr. Montes, Ms. Garay, members of the board, considering that this is statutory, I'll have to look at that and see what options we have to amend or to make changes to that.
Thank you.
But I will look at that and I will amend it. And honestly, I'll look at that also. If there's changes that can be made, we can bring it to the July meeting.
Okay.
Yes, but we have to approve it. It has to be approved in some sense to move forward, or it should be approved. However, we can bring that up and bring it back for another meeting.
Okay.
Yes, it can be amended at any time.
And then the July meeting on the 22nd, is it for a reason? And then the January 20th?
So, yes, that's actually item B on 4, so we'll
Oh,
move to
okay.
that next.
Okay, I thought that was part of it.
No, it kind of is, but it's not. They're separate.
Okay,
Okay, so ideally, you guys will have to pass item A first.
okay.
Mr. Montes.
So moved.
Oh,
And he's second.
get a motion.
Did you second
Mrs.
it?
Garay,
Yes.
He did.
Now you need a vote.
seconded by Mr. Legareta.
You need a vote.
Can I get a vote, please? Mr. Legareta?
Yes.
Mrs. Garay?
Yes.
Mr. Montes, I say yes. Do I need to mention Mr. Gonzalez or
No,
no?
we're good.
Okay. Okay, motion carries. Item B, consider approval of the Board of Education resolution of board meeting dates 2026-27.
Yes.
School year.
So, Mr. Montes, members of the board, in the next item is your board meetings for next year. And Ms. Garay has already alluded to this, so it's on my list to discuss. The next month's meeting in July, so the second Wednesday of the month falls the Wednesday after 4th of July. And so 4th of July is observed on Friday the 3rd, which means that our team and ELSA would have to come in and post that on the 3rd, which is a day off for everyone. Additionally, we post this in public places like the post office, the community center, and those places will be closed that day too, so it'll make it hard to post in those situations. Ideally, we'd move it till the next week, but the next week is the New Mexico Coalition of Educational Leaders meeting, and myself and many members of our team will be in Albuquerque that week. So, I mean, we could drive back and then go back, but I would hate to do that to, to everyone. So, we are asking that you please move the July meeting to the 22nd, and it brings us back to the first week. Staff is back, all of our administrators are back on staff, so it kind of makes sense to do that as well. The next one that you see an asterisk next to is January 20th. So the second Wednesday of January is technically the week after everybody comes back. So we'd come back and have 3 or 4 days to plan a meeting for that Wednesday. So in order to give our team time and understanding that there's so much space between that December meeting and when we have this January meeting, we want to make sure that we get everything on the agenda properly and not have people trying to work over the break to make sure the agenda is ready to go. So we're asking you all to move the January meeting to January 20th. Other than that, all of your meetings line up to the second Wednesday of the month.
Okay, from my understanding, before I ask for a motion to approve, we are changing the July meeting to the 22nd.
Correct.
And the January meeting to the 20th.
Correct.
Can I get a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Take a vote.
Motion by Mrs. Garay, second by Mr. Legareta. Do I need a single vote?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Legareta,
Yes.
Mrs. Garay,
Yes.
and myself, Mr. Montes, yes. Motion carries. Okay, we done with that one, Mr. Fred?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item C for review, NMSBA Policy Advisory 273 and 274.
That's just a review.
So, Mr. Montes, members of the board, as a district, we do subscribe to New Mexico School Board Association's policy service. The policies have 2 updates we need the board to approve so we can officially adopt them into our policies. Advisory 273 is tied to policy GBGC, employee assistance. It changes the language tied to initiating an employee examination. More specifically, it clarifies the need for reasonable suspicion and who may provide the service. And it takes away the idea that an employee has to be assessed by a licensed physician, because sometimes those are people with different levels or physician's assistants. But it really clarifies, as you've read, I hope you've read it, clarifies that we have to have just cause to send employees or to recommend that employees get outside services. It was a little vague before, and I guess due to some lawsuits, the policy services changed that policy. Advisory 274 is tied to policy KDB. This policy is being changed due to some lawsuits the state has seen, as was discussed at the law conference last week. It's really in regard to IPA requests. There are some changes to the number of days we have to respond. It identifies who from the district and how the district can respond. And we also have to clarify who should be responding or providing information. It clarifies the process, but it makes it a little more labor intensive for districts as well. Additional districts are now also allowed to charge a reasonable fee for copies made for the request. So it clarifies that language. I don't see any major issues with either one of these policies, so I would recommend that the board do adopt them as they are written.
It's the first reading, so we don't have.
Oh, you don't have to write its first reading.
Right?
Yes, it's first reading. Yes, you're correct, Mr. Garay. Yes. I forget we have 3 other policies. My bad.
That's okay. All right, number 5, items for future meetings. Anyone? Okay, I have nothing. Item number 6.
Sleep on it.
You're going to sleep on it again. God. Okay. Item 6, executive session. The board will go into executive session pursuant to NMSA 10-15-1H2, NMSA 1978 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically regarding employment investigations and employee reassignments. No action will be taken in executive session. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're now in executive session. Okay, how do I start this? Do I do the gavel? No, we are not returning.
Yes.
Motion to return. We're now returning from executive session. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
Motion carries. No personnel decisions were made. What else?
All we did was discuss,
All we did was discuss personnel matters and no decisions were made.
there you go.
And that brings us to item number 7.
Oh.
Our next board meeting, Wednesday, July 8, 2026 at 6 PM.
So,
Wait a minute.
it'll be July 20th.
Wait a
Okay,
minute.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we made that change.
Ya empezamos mal.
You ready?
Yes.
Yes. Number 7, our next board meeting scheduled for Wednesday, July 20th?
Yes.
2026 at 6 PM here at the Student Services Training Center. Do I need a motion?
Yes.
Or can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Mr. Legareta. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And item number 8, adjournment. Can I
So
get a
moved.
Second.
motion by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Mr. Legareta. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This doesn't turn off, Andrew.
We are
Oh, it
done for
doesn't
tonight.
turn off? You did that on purpose?